Hello there. Welcome to my show, COVID-19 Update by Heerak for January 10th, 2021. Yeah, I know you're looking forward to the summer or you're looking back at the summers that you enjoyed. Hopefully you enjoyed 2020 summer. Um, Probably not as much as you enjoyed 2019 summer, 2018 summer, I can confess for sure that I enjoyed 2019 summer far more than 2020 summer. As you know, for those of you who've been watching my show for a while, I was in Poland in 2019 summer for about 10 days because European Association for Biblical Studies, which is one of the leading academic societies in the world for the study of Old Testament and New Testament and Jewish studies, wanted me to share my research on Jewish studies. As you know, I'm a global expert on Jewish studies at the University of Warsaw, which is the Harvard University of Poland, the country of Poland. Um, And so I went and presented my paper at this conference, which was about 4 days long. Uh, Maybe it was like 5 days long. Um, and so, I went there and obviously all these experts in New Testament and Old Testament and Jewish studies who are professors at European universities like University of Geneva in Switzerland, Cambridge University in England, Edinburgh University in Scotland. Yeah, I shared with you a photo of a beautiful girl from Edinburgh University who's a professor there, right? But she's like genius. She's like 26. She's pretty. She looks like a freshman undergraduate student. I shared that photo with you. Remember? She's pretty. She's really pretty. Very Scottish looking. She's like redheaded. Um, yeah, so she's but I think she's English, but she may be Scottish. But she's British, but I should have asked. Well, I don't know. It's not the first thing you ask, you know what I'm saying? Um, I mean, I just met her for the first time, and that's not the first thing you ask, girl. I mean, but anyway, yeah, so there are a lot of experts from all over the world, but mostly from England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Germany, France, Netherlands, Belgium, Italy, like European countries, because it's European Association for Biblical Studies. So by definition, it's most of the people are going to be European, like professors, experts of Jewish studies from Europe. And Hitler killed all the Jews in Europe. So all the experts of Jewish studies are like Christians. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's true that Hitler killed 6 million Jews, and it's not just in Germany, right? It's in like Germany, it's in France, it's in Netherlands, it's in who hasn't read Anna Frank's diary, right? I mean, from Anna Frank's diary that a lot of Jews in Netherlands were killed, like Anne Frank included. Um, Jews in Sweden were killed. Jews in Netherlands, like Denmark were killed. Jews in like every country in Europe basically were killed, except for like Great Britain. Um, so like all the experts of Jewish studies are Christians because there aren't Jews. They were all killed in the Holocaust. You know what I'm saying? And like all the Jews, 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust all over Europe. And Poland played a major role, right? I mean, Poland had one of the greatest concentration camps that killed a lot of Jews. I think did Polish concentration camps kill like 1 million plus Jews? I don't know. I think that's what I read. I'm an expert of Jewish studies, but I focus on ancient Jewish history, like 2,000 years ago. Um, I mean, I could teach modern Jewish history as well, but like facts and figures, I have to kind of review. Um, yeah, especially like specific countries. I know like 6 million Jews were killed. Like, but how many Jews were killed in each country? Concentration camps in different countries. Or different cities. Gotta kind of look that up. um, but yeah, so I mean, it makes logical sense that when you bring academics together who are experts of Jewish studies from the continent of Europe, then like nearly 100% of them are like Christians. There's like no Jews there. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Only Jews who showed up were like Jews from America. There were like professors from Harvard University, from Duke University, like different universities in America where, they're experts of Jewish studies and they went there to present a paper. Yes, I mean, I talked to these like, American professors who went there because their paper academic research were accepted. So I talked a while with a Duke University professor. Duke University is in North Carolina. And the number one professor of Jewish studies at Duke University is Mark Retler, one of my teachers in Jewish studies. He used to be professor at Brandeis University. As you know, I was in North, like Brown University and Harvard University, and he taught a doctoral seminar that I participated in. There were like 4 students in the class. I was like the only non-Jew. But anyway, so world is very small. Mark Rattler is the number one expert of Jewish studies at Duke University. He's one of my teachers. Um, Duke University recruited him. Yeah, so it's like that. Wherever I go, I know people. Yeah, I'm one of the best experts of Jewish studies. Wherever I go, I know people. So anyway, when I was at University of Warsaw to present my paper on Jewish studies, there were some, experts from Duke University came to present a paper, and I talked with them for a little bit, but they're like they're okay, they're not like top, like their skills are not as good as mine. I mean, Mark Brentler obviously is, he's my teacher, but like given university, not all the experts of Jewish studies can come close to my skill level in Jewish studies. You know what I'm saying? My expertise. So yeah, I thought about my teacher Mark Bretler, and there's also a former member of British New Testament Society, which I've been member of for a long time, who was recruited by Duke University, and now he's a like one of the top tenured New Testament professors at Duke University. So I know these people, and I'm like I gotta treat this guy with kindness, because he's gonna go back to Duke and he's gonna say like what I said, to Mark Bretler, professor number one guy in Jewish studies at Notre Dame, my former teacher, and he's gonna talk to the New Testament guy from a British New Testament Society. He was the secretary of British New Testament Society, and Duke University recruited him away from which university was he teaching at? I think he was teaching at University of Birmingham. And then they recruited him away to be like New Testament tenured professor at Duke University. I sent him a copy of my book. You could read my books from Amazon. You just type in my name, Heerak Christian Kim. You can read, my books. So I sent him a copy of my book. I mean, he's a colleague. He's not my teacher. The secretary of British New Testament Society, but he was a nice guy. He would always send out like emails for the society, BNTS, British New Testament Society, and he worked hard and gave his time to help us, and arranging transportation for conferences and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like I owe him. Secretaries do so much, for society. Um, but yeah, I mean, So like I was nice to the Duke guy. He was kind of boring, but he was like a beta scholar. But I mean, I'm not. He's gonna go and tell Mark Rettler and what's his other guy's name? I think I'm forgetting names at one. No, this is bad. Um, yeah, the secretary of PNTS. So it's a matter of who you know, right? So I knew he was going to go back to Duke, and I'm like, he's a beta guy. I mean, I don't really want to waste time speaking with him, but I mean, he's from Duke, and I know these people, the top New Testament guy and top Jewish studies guy at Duke, and I am like, hey, better be nice to him, I rather talk to the beautiful scholars, the 26-year-old professor from University of Edinburgh, like that, single. I'm not married. I'm trying to get married, so I rather spend time talking with her. But there's like, there are things you have to do when you're in civil society and you're like, like number one academic society in Jewish studies or biblical studies, and all these experts, global experts get together. There's a lot of pride, and how it is. People have like pride issues. And so you have to kind of whether you like it or not, you have to kind of spend time with people. Yeah, grease the monkey. No, what's the term for that? I'm very good at hobnobbing with people in academic society. Why do you think? I mean, I know so many powerful people in like different societies. It's not even funny. Um, because I'm a Leonardo da Vinci of 21st century, so I know like top experts, like in societies I belong to, and I'm very good with people. People like me, and powerful people like me. So yeah, what can I say? I don't know why all these powerful people like me, but they do. So yeah. So like I was nice to the Duke guy. I rather talk to like people, European scholars. But I mean, he looked like he was out of water. I somebody had to like be nice to him. So I took it upon myself to be nice to him. Win some brownie points with my former teacher, Mark Rettler, and what's his the other guy? I think his first name is Mark. What was his name? Oh, jeez. He said he signed this every email he sent out as a secretary of a British New Testament Society. Um, Man, had I known that he was going to be a Duke professor, I would have memorized his name. You know what I'm saying? But oh, geez. I mean, I just have to Google, Duke University. Uh, it's there on the website. So, but I'm speaking to you now, so I can't Google it. I guess I could take out my phone and start Googling it, and yeah, it takes too long. I mean, although you may want to like look at the beautiful woman behind me, uh, you're like, yeah, go Google it. But it's like small screen. You're looking at like big screen of like two monkeys, one covering his eyes and another one covering his ears. See no evil, hear no evil. Like, no, please don't Google. Don't, you know, um, yeah. Today is Houseplant Appreciation Day. As you know, COVID-19 is here to stay. And especially during winter, I mean, geez, you gotta cheer yourself up. And plants can cheer yourself. I mean, plants can cheer you up because you see a living organism in your home and you water it and you see it grow. It can cheer you up. It's like having a pet, but you don't have to like walk it every morning at 6 a.m. or whatever, which sucks. I see people like in my apartment area, like walking their animals. Um, and I'm like, thank God I don't have a dog. Man, I'm like, that's like curse of the. I mean, like you have to like wake up and walk the dog every day. Hey, geez, I mean, like if somebody looks like one of these girls behind me, I mean, it might be worth it, to wake up and like walk her, if she wants to walk, But I mean, geez, a dog. What can dog give you? Nothing really. I mean, geez. I'm just thinking like a guy. I know some people like dogs, but I don't know. It's like so much work. You have to like feed it, and you have to like the dog poop sometimes on your carpet. I mean, geez, who wants to pour all that love into an animal? The animal doesn't give you much back. I mean, I rather be like pressed against one of those beautiful women who becomes my wife. Jeez, the the, the feeling of a soft woman pressed against you, there's nothing like it. I mean, geez. I mean, I don't understand guys who get animals like dogs or cats. I don't understand it. I mean, I like petting animals. I like dogs and cats, but I don't want to own one because it's too much work. You know. Um, and so I can relate to guys who want to have animal instead of a woman. I don't understand that. Like maybe I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, I understand, but I don't understand it. It's like a substitute for a beautiful woman. Why? Why? I mean, I'm a single guy. If I am going to have anybody in my apartment, I want a like beautiful woman like that, to love and hold, in sickness and health, to until death do us part, whatever, Um, that's what I would prefer, like a beautiful woman. I mean, geez, I mean, I don't have time for a cat or a dog, and they cost a lot. You have to like buy food for them. They have like their own separate dog food and cat food. I mean, if I could like eat my food and give the leftover to the dog or cat, I mean, geez, even then, you have to walk the dog. If you have a cat, you have to empty the litter. Oh, geez, that's just so much work. I mean, who has time for that work? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like when you're at home, you want to chill. You don't want to be doing work like changing the cat litter and if the cat scratches you, I mean, geez, you gotta get a tetanus shot or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who wants all that work? I don't know. Um, Beautiful woman behind me. Even so, I wouldn't want to like wake up like early and like walk them. Like if they want to be walking, I'm like, I'll try to find a way to say, hey, let's not walk. Let's just cuddle in the bed. You know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, geez, I mean, who wants to do all that work? You know what I mean? Yeah, but anyway, but more power to if you have an animal, if you have a monkey who covers his eyes and see or no evil, you have a monkey who covers his ears and says see no evil, more power to you. Uh, I just don't want a monkey or a cat or a dog. I guess like if I marry and have kids, if the kids are gonna walk the dog, I wouldn't mind having a dog, but well, I don't know. I still like it was like I don't know. I mean, the dogs could smell. They shed fur. Because I had a dog as a kid. It wasn't my dog. It was a family dog. The dog's like shedding hair all over the building. I mean, gee, my sisters love the dog, and my sister has a dog too. My dad and mom, and they love the dog. But I'm like, so much work. You have to like bathe the dog. I mean, geez, who want to do all that work? Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I like playing with the dog when I'm at home because I don't have to like bathe the dog or walk the dog. I just play with it. But I'm like, man, all that work, is it worth it? It's like cost benefit analysis. I mean, geez, there's what's the trade off here? But anyway, but with house plant, you don't have to worry about all that. You just water it. If it dies, just throw it away. you know, Minimum work. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm probably not going to get a house plant because it's too much work for me. I have plants in my apartment like this one, um, but uh, it's like a plastic flower. I don't know if you know plastic flowers. So I have like plastic flower at home. I don't have to water it, but they look kind of like real flowers. I mean, that's the kind of thing I like. You don't have to water it. You don't have to worry about it. You just put it there. If people come to visit, it looks nice. Obviously, it's fake, but it's plastic flower. But uh, yeah. But anyway, what can you say? I mean, I would love to have one of my former friends from Cambridge University, uh, in my apartment to be my wife. Geez, I should have worked harder when I was in Cambridge to marry one of them. Look how beautiful they are. I don't know what I was thinking. I was so much into Jewish studies. I'm like spending every waking moment studying Jewish studies. Not really. Yeah, I did go to every party on Friday night because why wouldn't you want to dance with them, right? I'm like, why would you not want to go to a party every Friday night if you have women who look like that in your college? You know, Jesus College. I'm wearing my mask, Jesus College mask. Um, what I made sure I went to every single party like on Friday night because every Friday they had a party. Like, you know, they had DJs from the college students. They're all like 18 to 22, right? Um, around that age group. And you know, they're fun to party with. You know, I remember, you know, the center photo. Do you see both of them? I was like sandwiched in between them and we danced like together. I remember that night. That was one of the happiest moments in my Jesus College Cambridge nights because I remember how pretty she was, and I, you know, look, I mean, there's like no skin. I mean, nowhere to pinch an inch. You know, look how look how pretty she is, and look how what a nice body she has. You know, and I got like a close up photo there. I'm talking about the girl in the red. I mean, that girl in the black. I'm sure she's. I mean, she. Some people. I mean, she's pretty too. But I mean, I'm more interested in the. I was more interested in the one on the red. But you know, they're like best buddies, and you know how it is. You know, if you want to get with my, if you want to get with me, you gotta get with my friends. You know that song. If you want to get with my, I can't remember the tune. If you want to be my, no, if you want to be my lover, gotta get with my friends. Is it my lover? If you want to be my lover, gotta get with my friends. Something like that. You know, it's like some English group singing, like a all girl group singing. If you, yeah, I don't understand women. They like you have to be nice to their friends or something. Like women have so much important, like they look at their friends for validation. You know, it's not like guys. Guys don't care. You know, if you date a hot woman like that, and all of your male friends are like, man, she's biatch. You know, I'm like, who cares, man? Who cares about you? You know, screw you. I like this woman. You know, that's how guys are. Like Michael Bolton's song. You know that song, when a man loves a woman, he turned his best back. No, he turned his back on his best friend who, what is it, put her down. Yeah, guys will turn their back on a best friend who's been a best friend for 40 years for a woman. That's how guys are. Um, None of this like bros before hoes, you know, that doesn't, well, it works only if the women are not that attractive. If the woman is very attractive like that, bros never before hoes, man. It's always like that woman before the bros. And you probably won't be calling her a hoe, you know, if she looked that attractive and she's like willing to be your girlfriend, you know. Bros before hoes, it never works in real life. If she's really attractive, it only works when the girl's ugly or not as attractive. Like this girl, you know, she's like a beta girl, the girl in black. I mean, she's attractive, you know, she's pretty, nice to look at, and she's like young, like 19. So she's at the height of her beauty. Although if she's like 30, she's probably going to be fat and ugly. But I mean, like at 19, you know, you're at the height of your beauty. But I mean, I look at the projection and I probably would not want to marry a girl like that because, like, by 26, she'll be like fat and ugly. You know how that is. Like, if you marry her at 19, you may get like good 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Maybe you get a good like 6 years, if even that, you know. Um, yeah, if you marry like a 19, you may get a good 6 years. But you know what I mean? But you're not gonna get 10 good years. You know, I don't think so. Because she has potential to be like get fat. But the other girl, the girl that I like, the one in red, she will definitely give you 10 good years, 10 good years to remember her by, and then you're like in, beholden to her, enslaved to her for the rest of your life. You're like, she'll be like, but I gave you my best years of my life from 19 to 29. And that the guys, you know how guys are. Guys are about like fairness and justice. So guy was like, oh yeah, I know. Yeah, you did give me the best years of my life, your life, 19 to 21, 9. You could throw that at the guy until he's like 90 years old. But I gave you like my best years from 19 to 29. Oh yeah, that's true. That's how guys are. If guys marry a girl like who's over 30, they're like, I was like second best. I'm like, I got a used car. You gave the best of years of your life, 19 to like 2022 to boyfriend A, 22 to 26, to 22 to 23, 24 to boyfriend B, 24 to 25 to boyfriend C. You gave like the best years of your life to like 4 or 5 different guys. And I got like the leftover, like the used car, the damaged goods, the girl with all the bitterness from 5 ex-boyfriends. Yeah, so that, I mean, the guy would have no problem divorcing her, walking out on her. It's like, geez, you gave me like I got a used car. I mean, I want to trade it in. That's how guys think. You can't use it and you kind of guilt trip on him. You can't say you gave him the best of your years of your life because that would be a lie. When you're 30, you've already ran the tank for 10 years. 20 to 30, you ran that tank, best years of your life on another guy. So the guy's like, man, I married her at 30, man. I got like used goods, used car. I mean, screw it, man. I'm just gonna walk. That's how guys are. They're not, they don't care. It's not like I owe her anything. I mean, that's how guys are. I mean, that's why there are a lot of divorces in America because like a lot of guys feel like, I got a used car. I don't care. I mean, I don't need to love her the rest of my life. It's not like she gave me the best years of her life. That's how guys think. I mean, that's why the divorce rate is so high in America. Because guys are like, yeah, I had some fun times with her, but it's not like she gave me the best years of her life. I don't owe her anything. That's how guys think. Um, yeah, I mean, if you marry like after 30, you should be surprised if you don't get divorced. You know what I mean? Because guys want a younger, prettier model. They always want a new car. There's no reason why we should want to stay with you. Like as I said, if I weren't a Christian, I guarantee you I would divorce you. Um, when I see a prettier woman who wants me. I guarantee it. Like if I were not a Christian, I guarantee you 100%, if I meet a girl who wants me, who's younger and prettier, by definition, younger is prettier, I would divorce you. That's 100% guaranteed. I will do that. I'm not going to lie to you. There are guys who lie to you because guys don't want to tell the truth to girls. But all the guys, 99.9% guys know exactly what I mean. Yeah, all the guys, like I'm a Christian, born again Christian. So Jesus said, don't get divorced. And that's why I'm not going to get divorced. If Jesus did not say that, I mean, geez, I would get divorced. If Jesus allowed divorce, I, as a Christian, will get divorced. I guarantee it. Why would you not want to get divorced when there are prettier, better women, every year reaching 18? Why would you not want to get divorced? It doesn't make sense. Only reason I wouldn't want to dump my girlfriend or not my wife is because we're married and Jesus said you can't get divorced. Otherwise, I would dump her like yesterday's newspaper. Yeah, why not? I mean, I want to be happy, and my happiness will be far more if I get a woman with a body like that, and I could trade her in for a woman who has a body like that every 5, 10 years. I mean, that would give me exceeding joy and happiness. Yeah, beauty isn't skin deep. I mean, you work 40 hours a week at a workplace. You come home, you have what, 3 hours per night, if that much, right? I mean, you want to be spending those 3 hours having sex with your beautiful wife, and then you get some sleep. And you know what I'm saying? Who wants to like have a conversation? You know, that's the last thing guys want, like a conversation with a woman. You know what I'm saying? Guys, who cares about conversation? Like, I mean, geez, you know, guys don't care about conversation. If guys like conversation, they wouldn't be watching football together at a sports bar. How much conversation can you have in a sports bar watching football? Nothing. But that's what guys like. Guys don't want to talk to other guys. They just want to watch football. You know what I'm saying? Guys don't want to talk. They just want, you know, they if they're with guys, they want to watch football. And say, say, you shout at the opposing team, but and munch on your beer and pizza, you know. And if they're with a girl, they don't want to be talking. They want to be having sex with the girl. Who wants to talk? I mean, find me a guy who wants to talk. I mean, the guys don't want to talk. Guys talk to women just to have sex. That's no point of talking to a girl. You think guys are talking to girls just to learn about her? No, guys talk to women to get into her pants. I mean, geez, that's like 99.9% of the guy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get the feeling a lot of women are living in a lie and they don't understand how guys think. They just don't understand. That's why women who don't understand guys are destined to unhappiness because they don't understand the truth. They don't understand the reality of what guys are. So they're destined to be unhappy. And by the time they learn what guys are, it's too late. They're like 40 years and ugly. Who would want to marry them? You know what I mean? I remember that dancing sandwich in between those two women. It was nice, nice, nice. She's pretty. Look at that. Look at her waistline. Look at her beautiful arms. It's like no flab there. Look at her legs, really tall. She's taller than me, obviously. Um, yeah, and look at that's where we had our parties. Like lower left right hand corner. They're doing they're doing something stupid there, but yeah, this is like after college party. Like everybody had half a bottle to one bottle of wine. They do stupid things, but that's why they're kind of some of them are. Well, they have theme nights on Friday nights. Formal hall is normally like Tuesday and Thursday because Friday, people party. So often, they have theme parties. So they dress according to theme. So it's not formal hall. It's like just like normal hall. Um, but yeah, but yeah, but so like look at the attractive women there. I mean, geez, look at that waistline with the blonde girl. Um, yeah, and look at all these single women, how attractive they are. I should have spent more time trying to like, you know what I mean? I should have invested more time. And Charlie, I really like Charlie, Charlotte Hudson, like right below my photo. Uh, you know, Charlie Hudson, I think she's like royalty. Charlotte Hudson, she's pretty. I think she kind of liked me too. And the next to her is like this girl from Wales, blonde, beautiful. She's in a witch outfit, but she's very attractive. I don't know why I didn't spend more time like, I'm like researching Jewish studies. I guess that's why I'm one of the top experts of Jewish studies, but still, I mean, priorities, my man, priorities, right? Um, yeah, wisdom comes from experience. I tell you, this is an experience that taught me a lot of lessons, looking back. And next to that, that cat and the witch. I remember dancing with them. It was fun. She was really pretty. The cat. She's really attractive woman. And so I asked about her, her outfit, and we danced together. We had a pretty nice conversation too. On the dance floor. As much as we talk kind of close. Like I have to like talk into her ear, but she can't hear because there's music playing on the floor. But yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why attractive women like me. I don't understand it, but they seem to like me for some reason. I don't know. Um, 2021 people are reported to have died in the last 24 hours. It's Sunday, so people have their day off, so it's not we're not getting all the numbers. It's probably more like 4,000. But not everybody's going to be reporting and working on Sunday, for God's sake, right? Um, so confirmed death is at 374,072. Confirmed cases are at 22,385,975. Man, I should have spent more time with these women. They're so attractive. But just thinking back, I I think I took these beautiful women for granted. They really like me. Like a lot of them like me. Uh, you know, I should have I should have like worked harder to like marry one of them. I just thinking back, it's like hindsight is 2020. You know what I mean? But who knows? Maybe I'll marry somebody beautiful from Virginia Hospital Center where I work as a registered nurse. Um, I mean, it's a little disappointing when I find out like some amazingly beautiful women at Virginia Hospital Center, they're married. It's like, oh, disappointing, very disappointing. Because I'm single and I like to get married, but I think there are enough single attractive women at Virginia Hospital Center. Maybe I'll end up marrying one of them. Who knows? I don't know. Only God knows. I mean, you know what they say. It's not that life isn't that complicated. You know what I mean? Meaning, like, if you have like one kiss with a girl who is serious about, wanting a meaningful relationship, that leads to marriage, one kiss can lead to marriage, you know? Um, Let me give you an example. Like, do you remember my best friend Ed Musang? He married my sister's best friend. She and I, we set them up together. They're both blonde, blue-eyed, like Aryan looking. They have like Germanic blood. Ed Musang is mostly like Norwegian, but um, and Karen Nettleton is mostly, I guess, English and German. Um, but then, life is simple. I mean, they took the longest time to get married. I mean, geez, they should have just done sealed the deal at like after a few dates. But they took a while. But um, life isn't that complicated. Uh, I bet, like, oh yeah, the reason I mentioned that was his younger brother Chad. He went to Drexel University. I like Chad. He's a nice guy. I mean, he's like the younger brother of your best buddy. So you see him around, at the home. But I mean, he's like younger brother of the best buddy. So he's like, yeah, you know how it is. But Chad, he also, after Ed and I became best friends, I guess he wanted to be like his older brother. He ended up having like the best friend who's Korean. it's like geez, man. How little brothers like copy their older brothers. I think I had an impact. Like I was best friend of Ed, and so Chad developed this best friend from Hepburn Horsham High School, who's that Korean guy. It's like, geez. Um, but yeah, but Ed's younger brother Chad went to Drexel University to study, and he went out to a nightclub with a bunch of his buddies from Drexel, and this girl gave him her phone number. So he called her, and they start dating, and then he ended up marrying her. A typical guy goes to a club, ask girls for phone number. They generally don't get it. I can identify with that experience because I generally get the phone number. So I think that's a normal thing, like, that you get the phone number. But I'm finding, that's not really a normal experience for most guys. Um, so I guess, I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but I can't really identify on one level because I always get the phone number, you know? So it's hard to understand why guys don't get the phone number. But but anyway, um, we're gonna Chad got this girl's phone number. I think it's the only phone number he got. Sorry, Chad, I'm not trying to like blow your, but you're married her now, right? So, but this one girl who gave him her phone number, they ended up getting married. That's how guys are. Like most of the guys, because at the end of the day, you have to have meeting of minds, right? Um, and I remember when I was at Harvard, I saw this girl. Oh, she was so beautiful. She was from New Hampshire. She was blonde, blue-eyed, and she was like 6'2", looked like a model. And she was studying to be a United Church of Christ minister. She was in the MDiv program at Harvard Divinity School. And I'm like, man, I haven't seen a woman that pretty. Well, I have, but this was a while ago. This is before I went to Cambridge. And I said, man, she's the prettiest woman at Harvard Divinity School, you know? And I said, I have to ask her out. I have to get to know her because she's so pretty. So I asked her, I say, hey, you want to go for coffee with me? And she's like, yes. So we went for coffee. Yeah, I'm like, why did she say yes to me? I don't understand. I don't, what I'm saying? It's like weird. She's from New Hampshire. She was kind of like a New England woman, she was like demure and I don't know, like polite, but it was, I don't know, Beach Boy songs, about different regions. I think they're kind of true. Um, yeah, New England women are kind of hard to like, they don't really show their emotions that much. I don't know. I remember, Eric Fries. Hey, Eric. He's a professor at a community college in New York. Um, I remember like meeting him and his female friend. What was it? Meeting him and his female friend in Boston. I think that was it. And I asked her out, and she said yes. So we went to like lunch or dinner. Um, and I remember she had the biggest breasts of anyone I've known at that time. And I don't know. I mean, I asked her because she was pretty, and I'm like, whoa, that's like really big. Like it gets in the way. It was so big. I remember, at Philmont Christian Academy where I went to high school. Um, like Ed and I were talking, and guys are, at that age, middle school and high school. Like some girls develop really quickly, and that was kind of shocking to guys, who are in middle school or high school, right? Well, shocking may not be the right word because guys like that, but one of the girls who developed really quickly at Philmont Christian Academy was in my grade was Jessica Belmonte. I mean, she was like thin and pretty, and she's Italian. I think she's 100% Italian. She's really pretty. Italian women can be really attractive, and like 1 year, like she developed, right? And her breasts were really like just we don't know what happened. It's just she was like a thin, stick woman, and then she like voluptuously developed. And Ed was talking about that. I guess I mean, guys are like kind of it's a mystery to guys, because it doesn't happen to guys really, right? But it happens to women. They develop and some people develop in a way that's like whoa. Um, and she dated Kurt, so they're like the hottest couple, right? Jessica Belmonte's, she's pretty, but now after developing really, shapely body, she was kind of considered like the hottest woman in the grade. Although I like BJ Humphries more because she's like blonde and blue eyed, and she's I thought she was really pretty. But most of the guys I think like Jessica Belmonte. And at Georgetown University, one of my professors turned out to be her brother. Yeah. Hi, Jessica. Uh, yeah, he was Professor Belmonte. He was a professor of pathophysiology. So I took this course, summer course on pathophysiology at Georgetown with Professor Belmonte. Um, I was accepted to Georgetown, and then I didn't have any money, so I, uh, I taught, ended up teaching at the Washington D.C. Public Schools, DCPS, before starting at Georgetown. So there's this online summer class. So originally I was going to start, but I didn't have any money, and and I guess the financial aid did not come through that first year. So it's like, well, I guess I have to work and save money. So I mean, had financial aid come through, I probably would have started then. But Washington D.C. region is kind of expensive. Apartments are expensive. Everything is expensive. So I'm like, man, I have to work. I mean, so I ended up teaching at Washington D.C. public schools. And to be honest with you, I came up to Washington D.C. because I knew I was going to start nursing school at Georgetown, and I took a leave of absence. Talked to Professor Leones, who was the dean, academic dean. She died of cancer, unfortunately, in 2019. But it was really sad. Was it 2019 or 2020? She died of cancer. But I talked to her, and I talked to her about financial aid, and you know, she and I talked, and after that, I decided to take a leave of absence and work at Washington D.C. public schools and save money. And so that's what I did. So I did my summer class on pathophysiology with Professor Belmonte, who turned out to be the brother of Jessica Belmonte. Isn't that a small world? Isn't that weird? And who'd have thought? I think he went to Philmont too, but younger grade. Maybe he was in my sister's class. But world is that small. And so he taught pathophysiology, like preparatory class in the summer for like 1 month, August. Like I guess it was like maybe was it 1 month? Maybe it's like 6 weeks from June to August. Um, to the cohort that I got accepted to. And then obviously because of financial aid, I had to delay it. And but I'm glad that I started with the cohort 2020. Because I mean, I have to confess, we have the most attractive women in my cohort. We do. And I was very happy about that for 2 years. Yeah, because I'd rather be in a cohort with like attractive women than in a cohort with less attractive women. I'm a guy. Because you have to go to classes every other day or every day. It's nice to see attractive women. It's as I said, it's kind of like visiting Niagara Falls or Grand Canyon. Don't you think it'd be nice if you live like in Grand Canyon area and see Grand Canyon every day? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like that, like being in my cohort 2020. There were so many attractive women in the cohort. I said, thank God I'm in this cohort. Every class I go, and although like a lot of women are very attractive. It's like living next to Grand Canyon and being surprised by the beauty of Grand Canyon every day, for 2 years. So I was very happy for 2 years. I was happy as a clown for 2 years because a lot of the women were very attractive. I mean, obviously you could only marry one, right? I mean, but it's nice to look at different attractive women. I mean, it just gives you joy as a guy. Being around a lot of attractive women just gives you a lot of joy. So, like, at Jesus College, I was very happy. Look at all these attractive women. I mean, obviously you could only marry one, but it's like, hey, just because like you live in I mean, you could appreciate Grand Canyon, Niagara Falls, Zion National Park, Yosemite. You can appreciate a lot of different beautiful sites. You don't have to necessarily live there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, having a lot of attractive women around, it's definitely like adds to the quality of life. Um, yeah, so I was happy that I was in my cohort because I think the cohort that I got accepted to, I think the women were kind of ugly. Sorry, no offense. Uh, no, they weren't ugly. I wasn't accepted to cohort 2019 because there are a lot of attractive women in cohort 2019 too. Although I would have to say not as attractive as our cohort. I think cohort 2020, CNL cohort 2020 at Georgetown has the most beautiful women out of all the cohorts at Georgetown University in the clinical nurse leader program in its history. I think that's my opinion. Um, I think our cohort had the most beautiful people. Yeah, I mean, I think I could say that with confidence because I remember like looking all the little Zoom photographs in the video cameras. Uh, I guess they didn't have Zoom, whatever the platform was. On my first pathophysiology class with Professor Bamonti, I remember thinking, man, the women are not very pretty. you know, Man, am I shallow or what? This is guys are. I mean, you women don't know how guys are. I mean, this show shows you what guys are. Yes, we think about these things all the time. Guys are like this. That's what guys think about. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, this is how guys think. I mean, what do you think? Like, just because somebody's a Christian guy, the Christian guy doesn't think like a guy? No, all guys think like this. Yeah, 99.9%. They just lie to you and say, well, personality is more important. That's a lie. No guys will choose personality over looks. No, it doesn't work that way. Um, yeah, looks is always number one. Yeah, but they'll lie to you and say, well, yeah, well, personality is important. I don't care if the girl has bad personality. She looks like that. Who cares? As I said, you work 40 hours a week, you know? I mean, if she looks like that, who cares if she doesn't cook? You could like order out every day. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can learn to cook. I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm too lazy to learn to cook, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Um, yeah, just life is like that, Life is, I mean, to be born pretty is the greatest blessing God can give you. There's no blessing greater than that. Beauty, I mean, who said beauty skin deep, I mean, must be a woman. Guys don't care how skin deep it is, It's like beauty is everything, you know. And when you look at it, I mean, why do you think you buy the clothing and designer stuff? Because beauty matters. You need to enhance the beauty with extra stuff, right? Uh, because beauty is important, you know. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Let's look at top 5 nations in the world. United States is number one for top COVID-19 cases in the world, 22,385,975 cases. Deaths are at 374,072. And if you're a woman who waits till 30 to get married, I mean, geez, you're asking for divorce, As I said, if I were not a Christian and if Jesus did not say divorce is wrong, I guarantee you, like 900%, I would divorce the woman when she hits like 30. You know, even if she has children, yeah, if yeah, I mean, yeah, because life is too short to be with an ugly woman. No, seriously, life is too short. You only have 100 years to live. Why would you want to be there with an ugly woman? Um, yeah, some guys are like, yeah, I want to be with her to make my children happy. But I mean, geez, you only live 100 years old. I mean, are your children that important that you should compromise your own happiness? If I were not a Christian, I'm like, screw the children. If they can't handle it, well, that's their problem. I don't want to compromise my own happiness. You know, you, that's how I would be if I were not a Christian, but I'm a Christian. So, I may not care about my children's happiness, but uh, I do care, like I don't want to break God's law, and Jesus said, don't get divorced. That's why I won't get divorced. That's the only reason. Only reason I won't get divorced is because Jesus said, don't get divorced. Why would you not get divorced? If you could marry a prettier woman, why not? You know, yeah. See, I think guys who don't want to divorce their wives when they get old and ugly, and they're just chicken, they're just they don't want to have a quality life. It doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, if you're a Christian, you should not get divorced. I mean, you should not get divorced. Because God's law is eternal and it's universal. But yeah, but it doesn't make sense to me. If Jesus said, "Oh, David allowed you to get divorced," or Moses allowed you to get divorced, but I don't allow you to get divorced. I'm like, Jesus, why do you have to put that on us? But Jesus, he's trying to protect the women. Jesus knows how guys want. But Jesus is like, man, we allow guys to like get divorced. Every single Christian guy would get divorced. So Jesus is like, man, I better pass a law saying guys must not get divorced. So Jesus was looking out for the women. If Jesus did not say that, I would definitely get divorced. It's 100% guaranteed I would get divorced. Why not? Why would I not get divorced when my wife is old and ugly? I mean, I don't understand guys who don't get divorced if they're not Christians. I mean, I'm like, what idiots, You're going to die and go to hell after 100 years. At least enjoy the beautiful bodies, successfully with different beautiful women for 100 years. You know what I mean? Why would you want to do that? It doesn't make sense. Um, yeah, maybe they don't know what they're missing out on. You know what I mean? It just, um, yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for a guy to be alone with a single woman. Like, it doesn't make sense for a man to be with one woman the rest of his life if he's not a Christian. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, why would you want to do something like that? Yeah, so if you're not a Christian and you're going to hell, I'm like, man, get that divorce, get a pretty woman, be happy, don't worry, be happy, don't worry, be happy, I mean, you're gonna go to hell anyway. You're gonna go to eternal damnation in hell anyway. 100 years is all you got in this world. You gotta enjoy it, And what's most important than like a beautiful woman? You know, jeez, like quality of life. We're talking about quality of life here. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't understand guys who don't get divorced when they're not truly Christian. You know, it doesn't make sense. And history is filled with this. Men dumping an uglier woman who becomes ugly due to age or whatever for younger women. This has been existing since time immortal. It's human nature. But as I said, if you're Christian, you should not get divorced. I'm not going to get divorced because I don't want to piss off God. God's going to whoop me. I don't want that. That's the only reason why I won't get divorced. And since I can't get divorced, I've got to like cognitively fashion myself to love the woman who I marry, even when she gets fat and ugly. I have to say, oh no, I have to pretend like she's pretty. I have to lie to myself. I have to lie to her. You just have to do that. Because you're stuck with her. You can't get divorced because Jesus said that you don't get divorced. So you have to lie to yourself and say she's pretty. You have to lie to her and say she's pretty. I mean, because you have no choice. You're stuck with her for the rest of your life. Yeah. So, what I'm saying is give me just 10 good years of your life from like 19 to 29 or whatever. That's why I asked 10 good years of your life. After that, hey, if you give more than 10, great. But, um, I'm not greedy. 10 years is, I mean, I would love to have like 30, 40 years of good life. Because some women, they're like, they're genetically like Aryans, like these Nazi type, Aryan race. They have nice bodies for like 20, 30 years, without surgery. That's why the Aryan race is like superior. It's, yeah, like in Israel, like some of the women are amazingly beautiful. But they were saying in Israel, they say, Israeli women are hot. I mean, it's just they're amazingly hot from like 18 to 26, and then they start swiveling up. And Eric used to say that too. Eric Fries, he's half Jewish, half Presbyterian. He chose to become Orthodox Christian. And Eric's like, hey, Eric. Eric's like, Israeli women are hot when they're like 18. But when they get like hit 30, like they age like, exponentially. And that's true. A lot of Israeli women, like at age 30, like they don't look like how they look at age 20, you know? So yeah, Eric is 100% correct. So I mean, life is like that. I mean, Israelis are not Aryans, and so I mean it's understandable. Yeah, I mean, Aryans are the superior race. I mean, I'm not an Aryan, I'm Korean, but I'd love to marry a member of the Aryan race. Because theirs is the superior race. I mean, beauty shows it. I'm willing to acknowledge the Aryan race as the superior race, because when I look at the women, German women, there's no doubt the Aryan race is a superior race in my mind. As someone who appreciates beauty, because like not all Germans are like that, but just looking at the percentage of women who are amazingly attractive and they continue to be attractive. I mean, they must be the superior race. Um, yeah, not German women. The saying goes, German women age well. I remember, Ed and I, we met Frank Ludwig's ex-wife, and Frank Ludwig and Ed, Eric Fries and I, we drove from Greece to, and then took a ferry from Greece to like Italy, drove all the way up of Italy, and then drove all the way up to Germany to Berlin, where he traded in his Fiat Uno. We had two car accidents in his little dinky Fiat Uno on the way to Berlin. Or was it Leipzig? He's from Leipzig. He's an East German guy. And we met his wife, and I guess she was old, like 40 years old or something. And she looked really amazingly pretty, and she was like thin. And Eric and I are like, wow, oh my God, she's attractive. This is like 40 years. She's like really old, 40 years old. Um, and like she was really, she was like 120 pounds, 110 pounds. Probably like 110 pounds, like five, 5'8" or so. Obviously, 100 pounds is probably better than 110, but yeah, maybe she was like 100 pounds. But yeah, I mean, like we're like, whoa, and there's proof after proof to show like German women they age well. I think it's the Aryan race. I think I hate to admit it, but I think Hitler had a point about the Aryan race. Hitler is like 1/8 Jewish, and I think like as a person who's 1/8 Jewish, as a person who has a grandmother who's Jewish, Eric observed like among his Jewish relatives and non-Jewish relatives, and I think it's an empirical conclusion he drew based on looking at his relatives. And he's like, oh, Aryans must be superior because all my Aryan race relatives are far attractive than my Jewish relatives when they hit certain age. I don't know. I mean, I mean, I'm just trying to throw a theory out there. Why did some guy who's a 1A Jewish keep pushing the idea that Aryan race is superior? Like Hitler is 1A Jewish. He doesn't look Aryan, right? Hitler is kind of short. He looks Jewish, doesn't he? I mean, like when you look at Hitler, you're like, man, that guy looks Jewish. You just put a kippah on him, Hitler. I mean, he'll be like a super duper Jew, you know, or put a black clothing on Hitler and then grow some earlocks, put that black hat on him, have him parade around in Brooklyn. I mean, he'll fit right in. He'll be like super duper Jew. I mean, he's like 1A Jewish, but he looks more Jewish than Aryan. Um, so, but ironically, like all these Aryans followed him as their Führer. Maybe Jews are, man, I think it's the brain part. There's that, you know, some one guy who looks more Jewish than Aryan, leading like a nation of Aryans. I mean, there is some humor in that. Maybe Saturday Night Live will do something with that. But yeah, but I mean, Hitler definitely doesn't look like an Aryan. I mean, he looks more Mediterranean than German. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. But anyway, India is number two. 10,450,284. Proud Boys. Isn't like one of the guys who's a leader. He has like a Latino name. They're not like they, are they? I mean, people call it a white supremacist group, but it's more like a Latino group. I mean, I think he has like brown hair and brown eyes. I mean, certainly he's not an Aryan. To be an Aryan, you gotta have like blue eyes and blonde hair. At least blue eyes. Like if you have brown eyes, I mean, your your Aryan heritage is suspect. I mean, like if you have brown eyes, I mean, you're probably not an Aryan, right? Because if you have a mother who has blue eyes and father who has blue eyes, you're definitely going to have blue eyes. If you have brown eyes, somebody had brown eyes that's mixed into your blood, right? I mean, so you're probably not an Aryan. I mean, you're probably not pure white, right? So Ed was saying this at Philmont. He was saying, if a white person doesn't have blue eyes or green eyes, then people suspect that you're not white. I mean, it's genetic, inheritance, right? If you have both parents who are blue eyes, you're going to have blue eyes, right? So it makes sense. There's some mixing at some point in your life. But anyway, I'm 100% Korean. I'm not Aryan, but I'm willing to concede that the Aryan race is the superior race. I mean, I wish I could say Korean race is a superior race, but I don't think I can. Just looking at the biological factors, determinants, I don't think I can. Because at the end of the day, biological determinants are more important. Like acquired traits, what you're born with, biological dictates, by definition, determines a living organism superiority, right? I mean, let's be honest here. Um, Things you acquire are things you acquire. I mean, you can rise to superiority, but you cannot say you're genetically superior, right? By definition. To say that you're genetically superior, you have to be born with certain traits. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm willing to concede that Aryans are genetically superior because they're born with these traits, right? So yeah, I have no problem scientifically affirming genetic superiority of people or living organisms that seem to display these factors. I mean, geez, you may be jealous, but reality is reality. What can you say? There are women who are genetically superior. They, They're born and they're thin and they're attractive all throughout their lifespan. I mean, there's genetic superiority. I mean, you could tell. You think guys gravitate to ugly women who are like PhDs or pretty women who are like high school dropouts? Go to any party. 99% of the guys rather hang out with a woman who's a high school dropout but dropped up gorgeous than a woman who has three PhDs and is really fat and ugly. Go to any cocktail party or Christmas party or Halloween party. That's just the way life is. That's how it is. Um, but yeah, life is like that. Life is like that. But yeah, let's look at number 3, Brazil. 8,105,790 cases, 203,100 deaths. That's Brazil. Russia is 3,366,715 cases, and deaths are at 60,963, 2%. And United Kingdom is at 3,081,368, and deaths are 81,567. Yeah. Those are the top 5. COVID-19 death break record. This is in America, which is number 1. So first article is, this is our most dangerous time. COVID-19 deaths are at unprecedented levels in the United States. We see this, in Christina Maxuris in CNN. And the quotation that is relevant is, the weekly tallies of COVID-19 cases and deaths in the United States have never been higher, and state officials are warning of more alarming patterns following the holiday season. In the 9 days since the start of 2021, the United States has recorded more than 2 million new COVID-19 cases and 24,000 deaths, according to data from Johns Hopkins University. The nation has averaged about 247,200 COVID-19 cases a day over the last week as of Friday, an all-time high, and more than 3.7 times greater than a summertime peak set in late July, Johns Hopkins data shows. Hospitalizations, meanwhile, have been pushing some facilities and medical staff to their limits. Yeah, things are bad in America. Second article, U.S. surpasses 300,000 daily coronavirus cases, the second alarming record this week. Paulina Villegas. The United States on Friday surpassed 300,000 daily coronavirus cases, the second alarming record this week. The number, which roughly equates to the population of St. Louis, Pittsburgh, or Cincinnati, comes about 2 months after the country reported 100,000 coronavirus cases a day for the first time, and 1 day after more than 4,000 people died from the virus, also a record. The United States has reported 21.8 million infections and 367,458 deaths. Coronavirus update, this number 3 article. One in every 15 Americans has tested positive for COVID-19. Virus claims member of famed Tuskegee Airmen, Adriana Rodriguez and Rachel Aretakis. In the United States Today, USA Today. So the significant quote from there is, approximately 1 in every 15 Americans had tested positive for the coronavirus as of Saturday evening. According to data from Johns Hopkins University, The US surpassed more than 22 million cases Saturday. That was yesterday. In California, health officials reported a record one-day total of 695 deaths. In one day, in one state, we had 700 deaths, basically. Can you believe that? Many hospitals strain under unprecedented caseloads. New York now has 4 confirmed cases of a more contagious strain of COVID-19. The new strain has been identified in at least 8 states and 33 countries. Isn't that tragic? What's tragic is America. I mean, we're having so many people die. It's not even funny. Yeah, it's tragedy, absolute tragedy. What's happening to America? And unfortunately, like every day of the 365 days a year, we're going to have thousands dying every day in America. We're going to have like anywhere from 3 million to 30 million Americans die in the year 2021. It's unfortunate, but that is likely to happen. I just look at the COVID-19 deaths every day. I'm predicting that we're going to hit 10,000 daily deaths in January. Hopefully, I turn out to be wrong. I don't want anybody to die, but I don't think I'll be wrong. That's the sad thing. You look at the trends right now in America. It's horrific. Yeah, hospitals ran out of beds. People need hospitals for COVID. They can't get a hospital bed and they die. That's the trend that every city is headed to. It's really sad. Well, I want to make sure that you understand the reality of what's happening here, in the world around you, not just with COVID, but with other things, right? Because your personal happiness is not just about surviving COVID, right? You want to be happy. And that also includes other things that I discussed. Like, if you're an 18-year-old woman and you're thinking, I'll just get married at 30, you're destined to unhappiness by definition, because you don't understand the reality of yourself and the world around you. So you're destined to be unhappy. This is why knowledge is power. Knowledge gives you personal power to be happy, right? And this show gives you that knowledge to find your personal happiness. Because who cares if you save the world if you're miserable and you're unhappy? I don't know if you remember the show Matrix, but there was a scene in a movie, I forgot which one, where Nemo has to decide between his love, Trinity, and Zion, his city. Like, if he saves Trinity, Zion would be destroyed. If he saves Zion, then Trinity would die. And you know what he chose? Of course, he's going to choose Trinity, because personal happiness is the most important thing for a human being. Why do you think parents choose their child over other things? Like even President Trump, even if they like President Trump, they're like, hey, I need that $2,000 stimulus check to feed my children, so I want to choose my children. So they may have voted against President Trump because they didn't receive a stimulus check. It's not that they're giving a mandate to rule to Joe Biden, but they just want their $2,000 stimulus check, So obviously the Democratic Party cannot see their victory as a mandate to rule in the way they want. No, it's about a protest vote. President Trump did not get them $2,000 stimulus checks right away. People are pissed. They're going to vote for the other guy. Some people are. You don't take people's money away and expect them to vote for you. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. You take people's money away, they're going to be pissed at you. And they're just going to like, they want to punish you. So they're going to like help the other guy, your competition, just because they're just pissed at you. I mean, is that what you want? You know what I mean? Yeah, you have to be smart in life. I mean, I consider President Trump being blinded by his daughter, whom I'm calling his Achilles heel. And he made too many mistakes following the advice of Ivanka Trump. Yeah, yeah, it's sad, you know. But what can you do? People, there are tragedies walking around, waiting to happen. It's like a woman who's 18, who's pretty. She can have happiness until she dies. If she uses her beauty to capture the guy that she loves, gives him give him the best years of his life, her life, and then hold him hostage with shame, guilt shaming. Um, she's guaranteed happiness for the rest of her life. But I mean, if she doesn't know that that's what she need to do to be happy, then she won't do it, and resulting in her unhappiness. This is where knowledge is power. The more you know, the more happiness you can get. Um, so this show is very important to providing you with happiness, because I tell you the reality of what actually is, not the liberal media version. Do you really believe guys who say they like your personality more than your looks? I mean, jeez, are you kidding me? Um, yeah. I mean, they'll lie to you though. Yeah, obviously they're gonna lie to you. You know the song, "Tell Me Lies, Tell Me Sweet Sweet Lies, Tell Me Lies." You know that song? Yeah. Some women want to be lied to. What can you do? What can you do? But I think that's what separates men from women. You know, I think most men don't want to be lied to. Uh, yeah, but like there are a lot of women who say, tell me lies, tell me sweet, sweet lies, and a lot of guys are going to oblige. That's just the way it is because guys want to get into your pants. Life is like that, but obviously, the moment you give your guy the sex, he's going to disrespect you. No guy respects a girl who gives in to sex. No guy respects the girl. It's just they may adore you, but they're not going to respect you. You know that song? You're mine tonight completely. You give yourself so freely. Blah, 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 blah. Will you still love me tomorrow? I mean, the guy may love you, but he will not respect you. you know, no guy respects the woman who gives him sex. It's just unless it's his wife, because if he asks you to marry him, he is asking you to be his slave master. So he knows his worth. If he gets to a position where he's asking you to marry him, he knows his worth. So yeah, you've won. Uh, if he asks you to marry him, you've won. Yeah, you have basically, control over him. Yeah, that's like with every guy in the world. Um, yeah, I mean, but if you like giving sex for free, I mean, like, guy's not going to respect you. Of course not. Why do you think guys say bros before hoes? They don't say bros before sis. They say bros before hoes because they're like, women are hoes. Guys don't respect women who give them sex. They see them as whores, sluts. I mean, that's like every generation. Nobody has to teach anybody anything. That's how guys think. It's like their genetic makeup. Yeah, guys do not respect women who give them sex. It's just it was like that since the beginning of time, and it will be like that until the end of time. Doesn't matter what happens with education philosophies, it's not never going to change. The sayings like bros before hoes, I mean, that like encapsulates it. Why do they use the word hoes? Right? Because guys don't respect women who have sex with them. Guys don't. That's just not the way guys are. Unless you're married, because if you're married to him, then he's what? He's like your slave. Um, anyway, so you want to get the truth about your life. You want to get the truth about the reality of what's out there. You want to get the truth about COVID-19. That's why this show is so important to you. So you got to fight for your right to watch this show. Keep the show alive. It's in your interest. Yeah, what's in it for you? Oh, a lot. Um, yeah, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. What can we say? I mean, geez, guys are what guys are. You can't force them to change. It's genetic. Been like that since the beginning of time. Yeah, I mean, you can't. There are certain things you just cannot change. This is one of them because it's genetically built into every male. So anyway, yeah, I mean, there are some freaks out there, exception to the rule, but they prove the rule. All right. Um, yeah, but anyway, I'm dedicated to bringing you truth because truth is the only thing that will set you free. I hope that you will be well and that your children will be well too. See you tomorrow. Bye.